Okay, my name is Jim, and I was educated and trained to be a physician. And I practiced, quote, in quotations, about 12 years in the medical profession in three different parts of the country, three quite different parts of the country: the Deep South, Northern California, and in the Midwest. In 1987, I began feeling this strong impulse, an inner urging to become more isolated, to do some inner work, and a prompting to find some property up in Northern California where I could do that, so where I could retreat from the masses and the hubbub and the maddening crowd. And I found about 4 acres of land up in the mountains of Northern California, which had never been touched before by the chainsaw. And it was in the mountains above the mid-Sacramento Valley area of Northern California. It was kind of miraculous how the land came to me, and I had never even intended of going into that area, but everything was coordinated by synchronicity, and it turned out to be my retreat from the world, and it symbolized my retreat from my former preoccupations in medicine. Underwent an intensive period of study of the most metaphysical and spiritual works on the planet. The books would literally fall from the bookshelves toward me as if I had some unseen spirit directing my occult education. And I underwent an enormous expansion of consciousness during that time. It was really the most important period of my life to this point in time. I was getting up 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and reading all day long. And I was meditating, and I was communing with nature, and doing a lot of contemplating. And nothing was ever the same for me again. One of the things that I learned during that period of time was that the system of medicine, allopathic medicine, I no longer considered to be a valid system of healing. And so I, without any trepidation, without any fear, even though I had no alternatives whatsoever, and I had to live my inner integrity, I returned my license to the state of California, and I turned my back on medicine, even though I had spent most of my life just trying to get it. And I turned a new direction. In 1991, I sold the property, and I've been living in the wilderness of nature since that time, preparing myself in many ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, and at higher levels for the things that I came to do, because I made other discoveries along the way. Period. Slash. I made those two important discoveries during my isolated years in the mountains, and I really was isolated. I would see somebody maybe every few months, and I would go down to the valley for provisions every couple of weeks, and then come back to my little retreat, my Elysium in the world, and recontinue my occult education and my expansion of consciousness and my getting closer to the source of my being, Kuthumi, and opening up a greater channel of communication to my higher self, that which is called the soul and the I Am presence. So after 4 years of being up there, I began to feel, and my intuitive receptivity had been getting better all the time, and my level of discernment was rising, so that I could pick up any literature, and I really would only need to read and scan through a little bit of the book to know if that was legitimate. But after about 4 years, I was feeling the urge to move on, and so I sold that property. I could no longer return to medicine, and I felt also an inner compulsion to then just go into nature, knowing that I had to prepare myself in various ways for the things that I came to do in this lifetime. Besides learning and coming to accept that allopathic medicine was not a valid system of healing, there were some other important discoveries that I made during those years. And one of those discoveries was that the essence of my being is healing, and that I am a healer, and that is one of the things that I came to do. It's not the only thing that I came to do. And one of the other most important discoveries that I made during that time is that one in the spiritual hierarchy, who is called Kuthumi, is the source of my being. And it took me many, many years to come to an acceptance of that, and then it took me even more years to begin to do something about it. These are the beings who are variously called the Ascended Masters, the Great White Brotherhood, the Elders in various parts of the world. They're called the Immortals in the Far East. And these are the ones who virtually guide and guard the evolution of humanity on the planet. These are the benefactors of humanity and all the other kingdoms of nature on the planet. For millions of years, these great beings have been guiding the evolution of humanity and all the other kingdoms of nature on the planet. The mineral, the plant, the animal kingdom, and the Deva evolution. And there are various offices and areas of responsibility that these great beings have within this so-called hierarchy. The source of my being, that one who is called Kuthumi, is in the particular office that is called the World Teacher for planet Earth. And this office is also called the Office of the Christ Consciousness. And Kuthumi is also the Chohan, or Lord of the Second Ray for planet Earth. The second ray is the energy of the second aspect of the Godhead, and the second aspect of the Godhead of this universe is the energy of unconditional love of God for all of His creations. So the essence, the totality of Kuthumi's beingness is pure unconditional love and compassion. And I just have come to accept, as a matter of fact, my connection with Kuthumi and the connection that I have with the spiritual hierarchy for planet Earth. As a healer, I serve as a conduit and a channel for the Christed energies of Kuthumi, which flow through me instantaneously as the healing is conducted. And even in long-distance healings, I'm told that for most of the healings, the energy is brought through me for transformation to be made more available, more accessible at a lower level for the recipient of the healing. And also that in the distant healings, after my invocation, it is Kuthumi who goes to the side of the healing recipient, and so they have the World Teacher virtually standing at their side conducting the healing.